My second pick overall, I will go with the Chicago Bears, New Orleans Saints under 47.5 at BetMGM. And the reason I like this under is you look at the Saints and they're a top defense. They finished the year number 2. Okay. The Saints finished the year number 2 in DVOA on defense. They're number 2 in weighted DVOA. From week 10 on, they're number 1 in pass defense DVOA. And you look at the Bears, and I think they're getting some credit for what Mitch Trubisky did when he took back over. The Bears scored 25, 30, 36, 33, 41, and then 16 to close out the year. They also scored 27 against Detroit on opening day, 30 in Atlanta in a game that he got benched. So they've been a pretty high-scoring team against Trubisky. But you look at who the Bears have played in those starts, and 4 of Mitch Trubisky's starts this year, 2 against Detroit, 1 against Houston, 1 against Jacksonville. They've come against bottom 3 defenses. So he's got 4 starts against bottom 3 defenses in DVOA. They average 33.5 points per game in those games. And then you look at what they did in some of the tougher matchups. They actually didn't face a team ranked lower than 16th in DVOA on defense in a Trubisky start, and that was Green Bay. But excuse me, let me say it again. They faced one team that was above average in defensive DVOA with let me say it again. They faced one team that was above average in defensive DVOA in Mitch Trubisky's starts this year. That was the Atlanta Falcons, who finished the year 14th. That was a game Trubisky got benched. They faced the Giants, who ranked 19th, and they scored only 17 points. And then Minnesota finished 18th on the year, which probably gives them a little too much credit. They were pretty banged up late in the year. And the Bears did put up 33 on them. But then they faced Green Bay, who's 17th, and they score only 16 points. So against kind of average-ish defenses, non-bottom 3 defenses, you have one game where you get benched. You have another where you score only 16 points. You have another where you score 17 points. And then you have one good game, really, and that's where you put up 33. So I don't trust in this Bears offense to do much against the Saints, who finished number 2 in DVOA. Trubisky's average depth of target, 7.4, is lower than Nick Foles's, which was 8.0. So you have that would rank 25th among all teams. And then you have Breeze on the other side. His average depth of target is 6.0, which would rank 32nd, dead last among all teams. On the other side, you do have Jalen Johnson practicing for Chicago. He's been out the past few weeks, which has contributed to a fall off of their defense. They could still defend the pass a lot better if he's in there along with Fuller. So, and we kind of saw that, they can kind of shut down, one receiver with if they have kind of a less than full strength cornerback group. If they have Jalen Johnson back, I think that improves. Now, Buster Screen still not practicing in the concussion protocol, so that could play a part. But you have New Orleans, just a lot of moving parts still. Alvin Kamara, the first day he's eligible to come off the COVID list. You have Michael Thomas, presumably coming back off the injured reserve, but this would be his first game back. Is he fully healthy? We don't know. Traquan Smith is still out. Deontay Harris, the return man, still out. So you have, this New Orleans team that throws the ball underneath. Their best players, we don't even know if Kamara, COVID can have some effects. So we don't even know if Kamara is going to be at full strength, if he plays. And then you also have, both of these teams are extremely slow-paced on offense. The New Orleans Saints rank 28th in situation neutral pace, 31.54 seconds between plays. And then the Chicago Bears rank one spot better at 27th. So you have 2 bottom 6 teams in situation neutral pace. You have a Chicago defense that's getting healthier, a New Orleans offense that we can't guarantee is at full health. And it used to be kind of a lot to bet the overs in these games indoors. The Saints in particular, we've seen their over in the Superdome go. Let me make sure I got this. So domes in the postseason, because I think, people mostly expect, higher scoring games. No, let me say it again. Sorry. People expect, lower scoring games in the postseason, which generally is true. But in domes, that hasn't necessarily been the case. We've seen postseason dome overs with a total of above 45 go 29-12 since 2003 toward the over. However, in the last 3 games in the Superdome, after starting 5-0 toward the over, the Saints have gone 3-0 toward the under. So you had the Saints-Vikings last season, 26-20. The total was 50. You had Rams-Saints the year before that in the infamous game where they got robbed. The total was 55, 26-23. So that goes under by 6. And then in that same postseason, the week before, you had a total of 52 for Saints-Eagles. And that game was a 20-14 game. And all those games kind of took place in this modern era of the Saints offense with Breeze, not going downfield as much. Michael Thomas as the main receiver, Kamara is the main back. And what you didn't have, though, was a Saints defense that was quite this good. None of those defenses were, top 2 in the league. So I don't expect the Bears to do much. This is a 10-point spread. I don't think they'll do well on offense. And when you have an under, you're looking for – a lot of times what you're looking for is, if you can get it, is just one team to drastically underperform expectations. I think the Bears are at risk of doing that here. So give me under 47.5 for Saints-Bears.
Yeah, if you put a gun to my head, I would agree with you. I have no strong feel on the total. I wanted to fade the Bears here. But I just make the line like 8.8, around 9. And then you do have that uncertainty with Thomas and Kamara. But I do think the Saints are a safe money line parlay piece. If you really like something like the Ravens, I personally money line parlay the Ravens and the Saints just to get the Ravens down. The Bears, look, Mitch Trubisky plays well against the worst defenses in the NFL. It's what he does. But against good defenses, he is still horrible. Even against an average defense in Green Bay. I mean, what did he have? 2 balls he threw. I tweeted out the throw chart. 2 balls downfield. Like, all he's been doing is just check down Charlie. Bears against good teams this year on the road against – let me say it again. Bears on the road against playoff teams this year, 0-3 against the spread. Lost by an average Bears on the road. They played 3 playoff teams on the road this year, and they were 0-3 against the spread. They lost by an average of 12.7 points per game, but that's very misleading. They had a bunch of garbage time touchdowns. Average deficit in those games, over 24 points. So, the Bears have some injuries on defense. Hold on. I'm gonna sneeze. Bears have some injuries on defense. I will tell you that the Saints right now, I have the Saints power rated as the second best team in the NFL, assuming full health. The Chiefs 1, the Saints 2, and then not far behind at all is the Ravens, Bills, Packers. And I think that, but I have the Saints power rated over. Let me say it again. I have the Saints right now currently power rated better than the Packers on a neutral field. And I actually don't think that they'll mind going up to Lambeau. I talked about this before, if they get there. So my true odds of the Saints winning the Super Bowl is like plus 500. You can get them plus 750. So I think that's worth a bet on the Saints to win the Super Bowl. I think they would. I think it's a good money line parlay piece. No value on the side, but you make some good points on the total.